So how can we utilize technology solutions to fulfill our regulatory requirements? The rules regarding promotion of prescription products, very briefly summarized, are: we need to be accurate and non-misleading. We need to make claims that are supported by the requisite standard of evidence. We need to reflect an appropriate balance between product risks and benefits. We need to be consistent with the FDA-approved or cleared labeling. We need to provide the product labeling or other information, or otherwise direct the audience to where that information may be found. Technology can help us provide information about our products in convenient and easily accessible ways, particularly for applications with limited space options. In such cases, rollover and scrolling functions can enable direct connections to safety and efficacy information about our products with just the rollover of the mouse over keywords or terms. Even if that product information were provided through a link, for example, from a microblog or a mobile phone, we believe that having to click through to obtain additional information is consistent with our online expectations and habits, and linking to product information directly from other online statements is much more immediate and convenient than some currently utilized approaches, such as directing the audience in a television ad to obtain more information from a magazine ad. The bottom line is that the internet gives us the ability and flexibility to reach people with information where they are and when they need it. And it is important for us to apply flexibility in our regulatory approaches and utilize the technology. We realize that the question of adverse events will be discussed thoroughly tomorrow, but just wanted to touch upon it briefly on how we think about the company's responsibility for adverse events online. First, as mentioned earlier, online regulatory approaches will differ by product classification. This is true in bricks and mortar and the bricks and mortar context, and is true online as well. Second, we believe that companies should not have the obligation to monitor the entire internet for adverse events. Rather, we should assess potential adverse events as and when we become aware of them, and determine whether or not they should be reported to the FDA. A harder question might be the practical ability of companies to cull adverse event information out of vast quantities of user-generated content. When remarks are made about the safety of products in chat rooms, most of the time you aren't going to have enough information to even make an appropriate safety report, and there may be no means to follow up. It may be more appropriate and effective to channel adverse event reporting to designated places, for example, by providing prominent links and saying, if you have a complaint or have had an adverse event, click here. These are wonderful potential solutions that we can take advantage of online. In summary, digital media and the internet are here to stay. There is no one size that fits all. If our rules are too narrow or inflexible, the minute we figure out how to comply, the rules are going to be outdated. We are here today because we know we need to engage online, and we want to do so responsibly. We want to learn from others through the discussion here today to help us adapt better and faster to the opportunities presented by the internet and social media. We want to communicate with people when and where they are seeking information to help advance health literacy and to provide accurate, current, and credible information about our products. In closing, we would like to thank you for providing us the opportunity to participate in the hearing today. Thank you.
Thank you both for your presentations. And I have a question. It's a two-part question. Ms. McArthur, you mentioned that it's important that convenient and immediacy of product information is available to increase health literacy. So the first part of my question is, how do you suggest that companies address that so it ensures that that information is compliant with the regulations, since it's going to be available quickly? How can you make sure that's going to be compliant with the regulations? The second part of my question is, what can the agency do to encourage that?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the first part of your question.
You suggest there should be flexibility for quick and convenient information so people can get information quickly from the company about its product. How do you balance that with a process to ensure that information that's going out is compliant with the regulations, it's not false or misleading or unbalanced?
We would treat that information as we treat all of our promotional information, and it would go through a multiple disciplined functional review by people inside the company. I'm not sure if that's what you're getting at. My point about being flexible was that, we understand what we need to do to meet the current rules of promotion, but I think based on the immediacy of the internet and the technological solutions that it offers, we can figure out different ways of how to comply with our requirements. That was my point with the flexibility, but I'm not sure if I answered your question totally.
I can give a try at the first one if I may. I think that one example would be sponsored search, or search ads that come up in response to someone's search for information on a disease state. So, for example, a way in which that could advance health literacy is if someone is searching and the only ad that can't come up is the manufacturer's official site, which would have all of the current FDA-approved safety and other product information. If that's the only one that doesn't come up, then we don't have the manufacturer who's really very knowledgeable and has the vast majority of correct information, won't even have the opportunity to provide a link. And the link in that search ad situation would be an example of the flexibility that we would hope the agency would apply, because to have that link available and let that searcher online click right there to the FDA-approved labeling would achieve both of those goals.
Okay, great. And the second part of my question was, what can the agency do to encourage this?
Keep doing what you're doing, and starting with the meetings like the one we have today, I think we're definitely on the right track. I'm actually hopeful, because a lot of the flexibility and in the examples that I'm hearing provided today, there's some consistent themes. So I'm hoping that perhaps that says that we might be onto something here and in the right direction. So we greatly appreciate your willingness to speak so openly with us about these very important issues.
Okay. Thank you.